Hey, everybody. Hope you're all doing well this evening. So, normally Ron and I would have started the show at 7 o'clock and we would have done that comic book show. So, I'm doing something a little bit different today. Ron's going to take a little bit of a break. And I'm going to do an introduction little thing here and talk about my new show coming up, which is going to be called The Comics Machine. And what I plan to do with the Comics Machine is it's going to be a platform where I'm going to be discussing what it's like to come up with a concept for a comic or a TV show or a property or whatever it is that you have the idea for. Primarily, mine I'll be talking about is comics. And what I'm going to do is we're going to walk through the entire process of how you take that concept, that idea that you've got for a comic or a property, and how to see that through from concept to creation. So what I plan to do is, I think when I launch the show, I'm going to have probably 5 or 6 friends of mine that have all gone through this creative process together, or individually, but as a group, we've gone through it together. We've bounced ideas off of each other throughout the years, and what we're going to do is I'm going to have everybody on, and we're all going to everybody's going to have a chance to talk about their book and what they worked on, and and then what I'll do is that'll be episode number 1, and I'm going to do these kind of as a mini series, and then I'll do 5 more episodes where I focus on each one of the individual creators for about half an hour to 45 minutes and to an hour, and they have an opportunity to talk all about that property that they've done, how with the idea for it, what were the steps that they took to get that, from the concept and the idea stage all the way through to the actual finished product, which is the comic book, the board game. Because I have friends that have done role-playing games, that have done, card games, comics, basically just everything you can imagine from a creative standpoint. So what we're going to do with the Comics Machine is we're going to walk through step by step with all of them through that process and discover, how they did it. How did they make it happen? So I think what I'm going to do today, for a few minutes here, is I'm going to talk about a book that I created. So back in 2004, for those of you that may not know, I was an owner in a company called Ape Entertainment. It was a publishing company founded in 2000, I think, or 2004. I can't remember exactly. And I'd done a lot of mini comics publishing and small press independent publishing at the time. And then I got together with some friends. We started this company, and I took one of my characters, which was a pulp-inspired action adventure character called the Crimson Devil, which is what's on this cover. And I produced this book, which was the Atomic Age, the name of my company, still is. And it was called the Atomic Age Treasury of Pulp Action. I enlisted the aid of David Wharton, Mike Hall, and Bob Alinskis to come on board and basically take concepts and stuff that I came up with and take different characters that I created in my universe and to create, basically stories around those in a pulp style. And then I had a really awesome artist named David Ellis, who I worked with at the time. And what he did is he created a book plate, which is a basically one-page illustration that was the intro to every one of these ideas. So to give you an idea, so there's the cover, front cover. And if you notice, I did the whole cracked spine look thing to it. Full on, published a real book there, As you get into it, it's set up just like a real book inside. When you get to the first story, let's see here. So let's see, volume 1, pulp action. So the first story is called Bronze Dragon, and here's a page that David had created for the Bronze Dragon. Oops, sorry, it's getting all pixely because of the light, I guess. But there you go, that's the Bronze Dragon. That's the book plate. And then you get into it, and it's basically prose. It's a prose book. I did it in a typewriter font. I was really trying to mimic the style of the old pulps, so that when you sit down and read it, you really had that feel. And the people that I brought on board, Bob, Mike and David, all, basically I knew how these guys wrote, and I knew that they understood that genre specifically. So I went out and I asked all of them if they would be a part of this, and they said yes. So I basically shot to them. I said, here's the character. Find something that's in the genre that you're going to love and you're going to enjoy writing a story that's in either sci-fi, if it's fantasy, or if it's going to be mystical or whatever. And let's go ahead and do it in that style, and we will create the book plates and the art stuff to go with it. So this was a really fun project. I had never put together a novel or anything like this in my life. So I had never done this, and I had to learn on the fly. So here's a plate from Bob's page. The Crimson, it was called The Only Thing We Have, which is really cool. It features a character that I had created called Fear. As you can see, he's right there. Definitely a mystery man, that kind of thing. So then there's another story called The Waking Deep, which is really good and creepy, and features Crimson Devil, American Star, and then a character they have called Davy Jones, who was basically my Aquaman type character. This entire universe is set in the 1930s, 40s. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had a blast sitting down and producing this book. And it's just, you come up with an idea or a concept and something that you want to try. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead and shoot them in the comments. And I'll answer any of the questions that you can. I'd love to get some thoughts from you guys on what's going on here. If anybody wants to hop on cam with me and chat, you can do that as well too. If you're a creator and you have created a book or came up with an idea or a concept that you've followed through to completion, go right ahead and just let me know. We'll get you in here. You can chat for a couple of minutes with me. But by the way, anyway, this book, it is available. I can't remember what's the page count on this thing. I'd love to do another one of these, by the way. It's 110 pages. So 110 pages, square bound novel, $12.95. I still have some of these. If anybody wants one, you can let me know, and I can get one to the Keller store for you or the Fort Worth store. If you want to pick one up, like I said, they're still for sale. I'll be happy to sign it for you as well, too, if you want to do that. I created everything that's in it. So have I ever thought about, let's see here. So Facebook user, I don't know. If you don't mind telling me who you are, that'd be awesome. Have you ever thought about reprinting and having those available in the shops? It would be cool to see some of your stuff. As I said, I have a stack of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think I have 10, 8. I have about 20 copies or so, or maybe 30. So I've got copies for sale. If you want a copy, let me know. I'd be happy to get one to one of the stores for you. Like I said, I can sign it for you as well too. But yeah, I actually started work on a second volume. Hey Percy, what's up, buddy? I'll bring some out to Keller tomorrow, so that way if you come in and want to take a look at it, I'll have some there. But yeah, I actually started work on volume 2 of that particular project as well. So I mean, I've got a lot of stuff that I worked on, as far as Crimson Devil goes. Tell you what, if you want to bear with me a second here, I'll see if I can find some Crimson Devil related stuff that I've got, if I have anything here. And I'm not sure if I have stuff I can get a hold of really quick. But let me see what I can find, if I have anything at all. Let's see here. Well, it'll pop up here if I do. So it's in Atomic Age. Where is that? Let's see here. Oh, cool. Here's a piece I'll share with you guys. Oh, I've got all kinds of stuff here. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm going to go and see what I can find. I'll bring it up on screen if I can find something. Percy, I appreciate you stopping and checking it out, man. That's awesome. So let's see here. All right. So here is, I did a book. The very first book I ever did was called The Atomic Age Atlas of Pulp Action. So hold on. I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what this looks like here, okay? So bear with me a minute here. Yeah, share screen. Share an application window. Let's do that one. Share. There you go. So this is this was the Atomic Age Action or Pulp Action. I did this. Oh man, like I said, I had one of my favorite artists in the world. His name is Francesco. Really good friend of mine. Actually, I need to reach out to him. I haven't talked to him in years. So there's Crimson Devil. If you can see, I don't know if you guys can see if my cursor or not, but there's Crimson Devil. Hold on, let me bring it up. That might be easier if I do that. Hold on, I'm gonna try to make this a tad bit smaller so I can see it. Hopefully you guys can still see it. I made it too small. Hold on. Okay, I don't think I can go full screen on this. Anyway, there's Crimson Devil. This is American Star. This is Tornado King. This is a character named Rapier. This is Jane Swift. That's her brother Jack Speed, Big Ben, Davy Jones, the True American. Oh gosh, I can't remember those two characters. There's the Weather Witch. This is Cricket. That's, oh man. I'd have to pull out the Atomic Age book to show you guys that one. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, I mean, I took this. This is one of the first things that I did. I wanted to do some cool concept stuff, and I wanted to do a book that I felt could. Let me see if I can make this bigger, guys. What is this? Let's see what is up there. Oh, I didn't do anything. There, maybe that's a little bit bigger. Anyway, I wanted to do something I thought was pretty cool, and just do, basically create concepts for a lot of my characters that I wanted to get, basically get everything so that when I wanted a book that was kind of like a Marvel's Who's Who kind of thing, with the Atomic Age book over here. And so what I did is I created it just like a Marvel Universe book where I took each one of the characters and I reached out to a lot of independent artists that were working in mini comics and small press, and they were just getting their feet wet. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm doing this book. I'm going to do a pinup. I'm going to have it printed. Would you do a pinup for me? And everybody was really gracious, and everybody did a pinup and concept art for it. And I'll have to try to find that. See if I have the atlas anywhere. I have the atlas. I can show you guys. Let's see here. So give me 1 minute here. I should have been better prepared, but I'm sorry I was out buying groceries. All right, let's see here. Atlas. So this looks like it's an Atlas PDF. Let me see what happens when I open this. Hopefully it's what I'm thinking. Oh, yeah. Oh, perfect. All right, so let me share this screen with you guys instead here. So let's see here. We'll remove that, and then I will share another screen with you. Okay, hide. Stop screen. Let's share screen. Sorry, it takes a half a minute to get everything going here. So this is the Atomic Age Atlas of Pulp Action, I think is what it's called. So as you can see, as we kind of scroll through it, here, I'll hide a few things. Let's see here, minimize ribbon. Oops, hold on, minimize ribbon. So as you see, I've got all the characters there on their page. This is volume 1, and it talks about when I created it, and when the atomic bomb was dropped and all that kind of fun stuff. But as you get into it, you'll see I have a credits page. I credited every single creator that was involved in that process with me, as you should. And then I go into, this is like the little list. So there's my character, American Star. And it kind of walks through and it gives you her powers and her abilities. And then I put villains in as well. So a lot of these I haven't used in quite some time. And again, they'll probably, I probably will use them again. So, there's Barnstormer. It's a Rocketeer type character that I created a long time ago. Big Ben. So all the ones that are on the cover pretty much show up in here, minus the villains, of course. So anyway, that just kind of gives you a rough idea. I created this so that essentially I would have all these characters and all this information about them all in one book or one PDF, so that whenever I got ready to reach out to another creator to work on a project with me, I could send in this PDF and go, okay, here's everything that you're going to need to know in regards to these characters. And, so we can just, pick up and run. We can hit the ground running. You have concept sketches. You have a rough idea what this will look like. You have their backstory. You've got history. You've got origins. You've got powers. You've got everything that you need. So now we can just jump right into this whole creative process and start coming up with stories and ideas and things that we want to do. I'm just scrolling through all these. There's Crimson Devil again. And I'll show you guys too. I mean, I did a lot of stuff with Crimson Devil because he was my main hero for a long time when I was producing small press comics. And I even went out and I hired a sculptor to sculpt for me a Crimson Devil, little bust here. And I think I had 4 of them produced. I think I have this one left is all I've got out of the whole production that we did. But it was a lot of fun, man. It was really cool going through and getting this created and the base. I need to do some touch-up paint on it a little bit because over the years it's kind of fallen off shelves and stuff like that. But that'll give you a rough idea. So that's this character that you're seeing on screen right there. That's Crimson Devil. So he's a lot of fun. I'm hugely influenced by the pulps and by a lot of older, stuff like that. So hold on, I'm going to adjust this camera just a tad here. There, that's much better. So like I said, yeah, I mean, I created all of this. I did that. I had fake guns, like the Crimson Devil's gun. I had a fake mask that I went and purchased and stuff. And, I really tried to create the atmosphere, which was part of what I was trying to do when I was selling my mini comics. And we would go to little conventions and set up rent tables and set up space and, try to sell books and let people know about the characters and, what you were creating and producing. I was a part of what's called an APA or an APA, which is APA stands for Amateur Press Association, and there's a couple of those out there. The UFO being the main one that I was a part of, and I think it's the most active today. It basically was a place that you could go and produce your comics along with other people that were doing the same thing. You would send a copy of your book to everyone in the group, and then they would critique it for you so that you got feedback as to like what you needed to do to make improvements and what you could do. It was so beneficial when I first started, in creating comics to kind of get me up to speed on what I needed to know. It was great. It was, and a great bunch of people too, just great folks out there. Like I said, if you have any comments or anything, guys, please shoot them over here in the corner. I can answer any questions for you. I can, whatever you want. I can answer it all. So just shoot it over there for me. I had, again, all these are 1940s inspired characters, so you get a rough idea of the name, the Evil Alliance, I just had a lot of fun creating these characters and, throwing them against the wall and see what people, there's the Fear character I told you that appears in the Atomic Age Atlas, in this bad boy. And like I said, if anybody wants copies of this, I'll have some out at Keller. I can get one to Fort Worth. They're $12, $13. It's 110 pages of pulse-pounding pulp action, as it says. So it's a two-fisted, guns-a-blazing pulp fiction. Out of the golden age of the 1940s comes the atomic age treasury of pulp action. A two-fisted, guns-a-blazing return to the days of true pulp fiction. Join mass mystery men, the Crimson Devil, American Star, and Fear, sworn enemies of crime and the supernatural, as they square off against the evils, the likes of which mankind has never seen. These four original stories by Mike Hall, Bob Alinskas, and David Wharton will transport you back to a time when the pulps reigned supreme and justice wore a mask. So, if that gets you interested, there you go. Like I said, I got that, and I've got other comics that I produced during my time when we had the publishing company. That I'll bring up and show you guys as well too. But I just wanted to kind of do something today. I think that was just more of a little introduction as to like what I plan to do with this show when I get it out there. Oh, there we go. Free Spirit. That was the name of the winged characters that I have. Free Invisible Agents, another really fun. Ryan Roman, who's a really good friend of mine, did that sketch art for me for that. He was a super dude to do that. He did a couple of them actually. The Iron Frau. So there you go. I mean, again, it's all the Nazis are the best villains. I mean, and the worst villains, I guess. But they're evil, and it. So I mean, that makes it really easy to work with. Jack Speed, Jane Swift, brother and sister that find an amulet of Mercury that when they connect it together, the power of Mercury gets split between them both, and they get super speed. A lot of fun. Again, it's 1940s. It's pulp inspired 40s. There's Joe Dynamo. That was another one that Ryan did for me. Did a great job on that, man. I just love his art style. I wish I could get him to do something else with me. Anyway, they're all, it's a little hokey. They're all, just fun characters, that are inspired from that, the Invaders from Marvel or All-Star Squadron from DC, that 1940s, campy superhero classic stuff. And, Jungle Cat, one of my favorite characters that I created, just love her. Just so many characters. It brings back so many memories of Krona, Empress of Time. I had so many cool artists that were working with me on these. Latigo, she was a female version of Zorro with a whip, so what can I tell you? Oh yeah, Mademoiselle Noir, a lady of the night. A lot of fun stuff. Master of the Ring, my version of Green Lantern, he had a ring with a genie inside. I mean, does it get any better than that? But again, this is all that I was creating to a genre. So I was looking for pulp. I was looking for camp. I was looking for stuff that just was of a simpler time. And that's what I did is I created and we wrote these characters. I wrote these bios. I wrote everything so that it had the feel of those particular characters. I wanted it to feel like you were picking up an old copy of the Justice League or All-Star Squadron, and you were reading these campier superheroes of that particular era. So again, that's part of the creation process. The National Guardians and the superheroes that I had, that was part of the creative process. You sit down and you figure out, who your audience is and who you want to create for and what your passion is. And for me, that passion was this pulp and war era stuff, coming out of the 20s, 30s and into that kind of stuff. So much fun. Hey, Matt, what's going on, man? Yeah, they're all World War II related, all Nazi punching Nazis and worried about the bomb. It was all set around that time. The Crimson Devil character and American Star had their origins in like the 30s, early 30s and 40s when they were younger. So there's a lot of, the mob and, dealing with, prohibition, that kind of stuff. But for the majority of everything that I did, it all, was in that 1940s All-Star Squadron, Justice Society of America, Invaders era stuff. That's kind of where it was set. That's where I just love those books, and I love that era. So yeah, that's where it all was centered around, right in that era, right in there. I need to make this this available for everybody to look at. Man, they had a great ship. It was called, the National Guardians headquarters was called the Zeppeliner, and it was a Concept 2 Zeppelin ship. Man, it was fun. I had so much fun creating all this stuff. It was just a blast. And I had a friend of mine actually took this, what you see here, these designs that are here for this, he actually created these in like one of the early sketch programs from back in the day, in the early 2000s for me. Isn't that cool? I mean, just how awesome is that, So that was the Zeppeliner. Let's see here. Scroll on. Oh, Nick of Time. My time travel character, my version of Doctor Who, essentially for the 1940s. A lot of fun. Rip Hunter, all that DC, time travel, Cave Carson-y, Rip Hunter kind of stuff. It's all that kind of jazz. And if you notice, he's got a time belt with a watch fob on it and stuff right there. You can see like right in there. Just really fun. I mean, Radio Wave, again, if you know the DC comic Airwave, there you go. Again, just having fun. That's really what, for me, if I'm not having fun creating comics, then it's not worth doing. The rapier, there's a Zorro-esque type character with a sword. Again, you got to have fun what you're doing. You really, really do. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of our little run through. Oh yeah, the Red Wasp. That was, oh man, she's a cool guy. That's another Ryan Roman design you did for me as well. I'm going to have to get Ryan on here so he and I can talk about this stuff. Shining Dove. She's a female that's on the front that I showed you on the front of the original piece. Sister Fate. She is my Doctor Strange from my universe. She's the mystic in charge of it all. She kicks butt. Stretch, that was the other character's name. How can I not remember the name of a character called Stretch? I mean, come on. Anyway, I'm getting too old. But again, this, Tokyo Rose, again, she had these really cool rose tattoos of rose vines and thorns and stuff all over her. And she could make them, like come alive and string out and ensnare people with roses and all kinds of stuff. All the tattoos that she had could come to life. So she's like the tattooed man. Again, Tornado King. All characters, these are all inspired with that 40s kind of feel to them. So you get the idea. True American, basically my version of Superman, super patriotic, like I said, Tyr, God of War, I threw him in there. And see, you got a Nazi symbol on his hammer right there. So, just that whole thing, like where in DC, I think that Hitler with the Spear of Destiny had taken control of Thor. So I was kind of playing off that a little bit. So, the Valkyrie, yeah, she's got this mask with the Sonic. It's all kinds of stories. I mean, there's so many stories here to be told. One day we'll get to it. Weather Witch, Sarah Sanders. We'll get to it eventually. But like I said, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea. Whirling Dervish was a villain as well. So anyway, I just wanted to, just kind of give you guys a rough idea, like what the show's going to be about, like what we're going to be doing. So that's pretty much about it. I wanted to spend about half an hour here with you guys and kind of talk about the Comics Machine and let you know what it's going to be about. I've talked to all the creators that I want to be a part of it, and everybody has said yes, they want to do it. So it's just a matter of sitting down and organizing a time when we can all get together, all get on screen for that first episode and be able to talk, to introduce everybody and basically set up what will be, like a 5-part series. And the idea, again, is to do the first episode will be bringing all 5 people on board who have created from concept to creation, either a game or a comic or, some property of some sort that's seen fruition or seen, made into a physical item. We'll do that in the first episode. We'll introduce everybody, all 5 creators. They'll all give you a little background about who they are and what's going on. That'll be episode 1. And then all of the following episodes, which will be between half an hour to an hour, will be sitting down with each individual creator one-on-one and getting a little bit more in-depth about their process of world building, character creation, and the steps that they took to get that idea and concept printed or into an actual physical form from concept to creation. And then the last one that we're going to do will be a wrap-up show. Hey, Facebook user, hey, cool, man, thank you. Hey, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. Trust me, I work with some really great folks. I'm excited to be able to introduce them to you guys and kind of show you, what they've done and everything. Because I have some really talented friends of mine that have produced some pretty cool projects, that have been published by some pretty good companies. My company, other companies as well. So anyway, we'll do introduction show, individual episodes with each creator, and then we'll do a wrap-up show at the end. Basically having everybody just, kind of get together one last time and chat about that. And then we'll move on and that'll be season 1. Then we'll do another season where I'll pick 5 more people that I've worked with or that I know that have done the same type of thing. And we'll walk through that process with them again. So throughout all this, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything that you want to see, just let me know. Every so often I'll pop in with a special episode like this where I want to talk about stuff that I've done. Projects that I worked on, because believe me, I published for 10 years. I did retail in the beginning, then I went to the publishing side of the industry, and that's where we formed our company, Ape Entertainment, and we published, and that company was in existence for well over 10 years. So we published a lot of material, a lot of stuff that was our own, a lot of stuff we brought in from other people. So there's a lot out there to be seen. Trying to see here if I have a copy. Bear with me a second, guys, while I look for something. Oh, yeah, here we go. So I'll show you. I'll give you a couple ideas of some stuff that we did as well, too. So this is a book that I created with my business partners at Ape. It's called Gogo Gorilla and His Jungle Crew. And for anybody that was a fan of, I'm sorry, the green screen is being kind of jerky. Anybody that was a fan of Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew from DC Comics, this was basically our love letter to that because we all grew up with this book and thought it was amazing. So we produced and created our own version of it. And the whole idea was that when we created this, is that we wanted it to be a lot of fun, and it to be really accessible to kids. So one of the things that we did is we made sure that in the back of it, there were, sorry, we're having some issues here now. What's going on? Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this. Hold on. Bear with me. There, that'll help. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that we had, we did a little word search. We did a little, choose find your maze adventure. And then we did one where we had cryptograms where all of this particular character's Nubia, all of her spells that she cast in the book were all using these hieroglyphs. And you literally had to use this wheel to decode it, like a decoder wheel. So we did a lot of really fun stuff. Oh yeah, here's some more stuff. Like there's, we did a word search in it as well. So we did that. Let's see, Matt again. Hey, you know a guy named Maurice Terry, independent creator, who calls his company U Press. This is no, I haven't heard of him, man. I'll have to look out and see if I can find him. That's pretty cool. That's awesome, man. Then the other thing too, I used to work for Wizard Magazine. I worked for them for years. And then when I separated from the company, we decided, friends of mine, that we wanted to do our own. So we literally published our own magazine. We published, it was called Comics Now. I think I have 2 issues of this, I believe, that we did. Square bound, I think we did 95 pages. So, I mean, and it looks, when you look inside of it, it looks like Wizards. We did our best to try to give the market what it was looking for. So anyway, I have a few of those lying around. We did a really cool thing that I just loved. I love this concept. So we did a thing inside this magazine called Meanwhile. And essentially what it was is it told you of all the Spider-Man books that came out that month, it gave you a little synopsis of what was happening in each of the books. So that way, if you haven't had a chance to pick it up, we can give you a synopsis and the chance that you'll hopefully run out and try to grab one. The other one is we did a Meanwhile for Superman, Action, Man of Steel. We tried a whole bunch of stuff, Meanwhile for the X-Men. We did that also. There was some really cool stuff in here. I worked with the guys on this from Comic Geek Speak, which is an amazing podcast. If you guys have never checked them out, you really should. But we did some really fun stuff. I mean, trying to find something real quick here. I know we did a thing on like how the cover. Oh yeah, so we did a whole thing on how the cover was created as well too, which I thought was really fun, and walked through the process with the creator. So like I said, I published a whole lot of stuff, and the list goes on, man. I mean, guys, I've got so much stuff. I just have to dig it out and find it all. One of these days. But that's to give you a rough idea. So between, I have Atomic Age, Pulp Action, I did Comics Now, which the other cover is really good. Check out this. Not this one isn't, but this other cover, this is a dynamic cover for issue number 2 with the Joker and all the villains, playing cards. I love that cover. So anyway, you got that one. And then, then I got the Gogo book. And we only produced one of these, but we have a lot of the content that we've created for it. So I've got other books that I did, one called Scouts, Dino, just all kinds of stuff. We did so much stuff in the time that we were publishing that, I could go on and on and on and talk to you for hours about everything that we did. So yeah, I mean, like I said, that's going to be the concept for this show. That's going to be, every so often, like I said, I'll hop in and do, there we go. I got my screen back. Sorry. I'll hop in and talk about books that I've done, in between if somebody's not available to chat one night. But that's it. That's what we're going to do. That's what it's going to be called. Matt, what was this? Hold on. Ultralinepress.com. Oh, I'll look them up. Dude, totally. Thank you. I will definitely look them up. Because I'd love to have local creators on as well, too. That'd be a lot of fun. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thanks, Matt. So anyway, that's kind of the concept, guys, what we're going to do with the show going forward. We've got a couple other shows we're going to be launching here pretty quick, and you'll see those coming out pretty soon. So that's really about it. If you have any comments or anything, if you're excited about it, let me know. Check out our YouTube page, which is mycomicon, mycomicon.com, is the social media or the social network that I created for comic creators. But that's also our YouTube page. It's mycomicon on YouTube. You can see all the shows that we have there. We have tons of content up and always. So just want to thank you guys for joining me today. Ron and I will both be back next Friday, where we'll be able to talk about other cool stuff that's happening and have some other guests and stuff on with us. So thank you guys so much. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you wouldn't mind, if you're on YouTube, if you would subscribe to our channel, if you would hit the little bell icon to make sure you get notifications. Anytime we put a new show up, you'll get notified about something that goes live on the page. So again, welcome to the Comics Machine, guys. We're going to talk about creating your concept from concept to creation, or to seeing it in print or publication in some way. So I hope you all have a great week. If you have any questions, leave comments and I'll answer them for you. Hey, thanks, Percy. I appreciate that, man. Can't wait to see. And I'll bring you an Atomic Age. I'll bring some of these into the store. So if anybody wants the Atomic Age Treasure Pulp Action, I'll bring 4 or 5 of them to the store. I'll have a couple. I'll have them up at Keller. If anybody wants one at Fort Worth, just shoot me a message or leave a comment, and I'll get some over to that store as well too. You're welcome to check them out, see what you think. So have a great night, guys. We'll see you soon.